Thank God this probably won't happen in real life. Because if it does, I'm gonna cry. Good God. Yikes. Um, what did Kansas City do in the first round? Oh, the rich get richer. The rich get richer. Oh man. I'm about to say yikes again. Oh man. Yikes. Oh man. We're never going to win Super Bowl. We ain't never going to win Super Bowl. Oh my God. Why? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys had a great holiday season. Happy New Year. I hope this is going to be our best year yet for all of you, for everybody involved. This is, let's make 2023 a great year. We're back. We're back with another mock draft Monday, well, Tuesday by the time you guys see this. The regular season's over. Regular season is come and gone. It's now playoffs time. This is exciting. But I figured because the regular season is over, let's do another mock draft. Um, Obviously, we don't know the full picture of the draft order yet, but we know most of it now. And so it's a great time to just jump back in. I know you guys love doing this, so let's do it. Share my screen. Let's get into it. I'm using a new simulator because simulator. Well, I don't know why I said like that. Simulator. The other one that we were using, I just wasn't a fan of it for a number of different reasons. One, trades were like impossible to make. You guys saw it. I admire the fact that they tell you on the site when you sign it, when you first sign up, like, hey, by the way, like trades are kind of hard in this one. They want to make it super hyper realistic. And the way the algorithm works is if there's a quarterback available and or if they think you need a quarterback, they basically tax you. They make it even harder to trade. And so, which is kind of okay, but then on the other hand, the other problem is they only give you certain years that you can trade, which is annoying. And as you can see here, this is like just offer trades before the draft even starts type of thing. They give you more than enough years to work with to make more realistic trades. And you see this here, you can force a trade if you want to. Um, so if you want to force a trade, we can, which is also going to be good, especially when we get into March. I'm thinking of maybe doing a mock draft in which we predict some players, right? So like Derek Carr, where is he going to go? So if I trade him to a certain team, obviously that's not going to be reflected in the draft order. So I need to make a trade in the draft order, in which case, let's say it's the Colts or whatever, the Raiders are picking at 4, but they're not moving up to 4. They're picking at 4. So I need to be able to have them get that pick and maybe just put in a 2025 seventh rounder just so the trade will go through and I forced the trade. So stuff like that. Also, I didn't like their big board. I'll see how this big board is. Um, no, now the one thing that I didn't like about the other simulator that I'm also not gonna like here is it doesn't show you what you picked. There's some simulators they show you what you picked, or they'll at least show you the positions you picked. So when we do like those 2 rounders or 3 rounders, I'm not constantly scrolling back up to figure out, oh, what do we do again? What do we do again? Because again, we're drafting for all 32 teams in multiple rounds and stuff. Like I'm not going to remember every single pick we made. And that made those videos a lot longer and a lot more boring, a lot less tedious because I'm scrolling back up, back and forth to figure out uh, who we picked. Unfortunately, with this, I'm gonna have to do that still. But again, the trading thing alone, because it's so much easier, we're gonna try this. We're gonna try it. I'm hoping that the draft network, what I used last year, I hope that comes back soon because that at least showed you the positions you picked. Trading was a little bit easier, and it at least showed the so like you see where it says needs a QB. For some reason on this one, it only shows when you need a QB. It doesn't show the rest of the needs. But if you remember, it would show everything. So let's say QB, wide receiver, edge, whatever. And then if you pick the QB, the next time you be up, so like Houston at 12, the QB would be shaded out, showing that you've already drafted that position, right? So that just made it easier. So again, not scrolling up and down. But for right now, we're gonna try this one and we're gonna go ahead and get started. And speaking of trades, I am gonna make a trade here. I think that this is a good trade for both teams. Oh, sorry, wrong thing. I'm actually gonna have the Colts trade up from 4-1. I think definitely want to get uh they definitely want to get um their quarterback of the future and stop messing around with the veteran thing. Maybe they be in on Derek Carr because maybe they see Derek Carr as somebody who uh is younger and therefore won't run into the same problems as uh you know what they had with Carson Wentz and Matt Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan and stuff like that. Maybe they go that route, but I get the feeling that they're ready to just turn the page and try to find their guy of the future. And so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and make this happen. Now the crazy thing is I did this as a practice run, and this trade worked. Now someone's saying they're not interested in trading for this pick. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna force this because I'm not dealing with that crap. I'm not dealing. You're getting a second round pick. I get it. You're trading up to one, and I get it. You're going for a quarterback. For the Bears, this 35 pick is huge. Again, you traded. Thank you, by the way, for that Chase Claypool trade. So to get back into the early second round would be huge. And then you're getting a fourth rounder just to move down 3 spots. I guess, yeah, see, well, what I don't know what the heck is going on. But yeah, I'm gonna force this trade. And actually, that's not gonna be another first round. It'll be that. I'm gonna force that trade. Okay. And so we're gonna draft Bryce Young. We're not even gonna think about it. We're getting our quarterback of the future. Um, with that being said, I think uh if you're the Texans, now you have to draft CJ Stroud because that's the problem, right? Remember last time I flirted with the idea, well, what if they went defense or what if they took Will Anderson first and said, look, we'll play for next year, right? Next year's a very good, a better quarterback class in theory. We'll take our chances next year. But this is why you don't do that, right? Because who's to say you're going to get the top pick next year? They won 3 games this year. They tied week 1, and they almost messed around and beat the Chiefs a couple weeks ago. So they might not even have this. They were very close to not having the number 2 pick in this year's draft. If you mess around and win 4 or 5 games next year, you might not get the guy you want. So I think at this point, especially in a scenario where a team trades up and takes a quarterback already, I think they're going to have to take their quarterback. Here, I'm just going to go with CJ Stroud. Okay. So these next 2 are easy. Will Anderson to the Cardinals makes so much sense, especially with JJ Watt retiring. Congratulations, JJ Watt. We'll see you in the Hall of Fame. Brilliant career. Uh, best of luck going forward. By the way, shout out Devin Hamlin. We got the news today that he's going to be going back to Buffalo soon. That's so amazing. Congratulations to him. Prayers up to him for a full recovery. And we're just glad that it seems like he got through the worst of it. And then if the Bears, this is a no-brainer for you. Jalen Carter at 4, because this is a guy you might have taken number 1 overall anyway. It's a coin flip between Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. I honestly think you go Jalen Carter because there's way more edges in this class than defensive tackles. So you might do that. And now, especially because you traded down, you'll definitely should be able to get a good edge rusher in that second round. Seattle is interesting. I think I'm gonna go Tyree Wilson here. Setting up that because he could be like edge and or defensive tackle, D line, I should say. And so I think they're gonna want that versatility. So yeah, I think that's the play there. And then if you are the Lions, you're taking Miles Murphy all day, every day. You're not even thinking about it. The Raiders are interesting. I think Derek Carr will be gone. I think Tom Brady is going to be their quarterback. I think that's why they did this in the first place. I think that's why they brought in Josh McDaniels. That's just my theory. I think he told them that I think he told them, "Hey, I can get Tom Brady here." I think that's one of the reasons why. I don't remember the timeline, so I could be wrong, but I think that's one of the reasons why they set up um, Derek Carr's contract the way they did, so that they can potentially get out of it and bring Tom Brady in if the opportunity presented itself. So with that being said, what do you do now? Do you go offensive line maybe to make sure you protect Tom Brady? Do you fix that defense? That defensive line needs some help. They could use another. I mean, I want to go Brian Brazy here. I think they can get away with the edges they have in Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. Fixing that D line would be great. Or do you go offensive line? Do you go offensive line to potentially protect Tom Brady? That was part of the problem this year. The offensive line was banged up in Tampa Bay. Do you want to ensure that you have a better offensive line now that you have him in Vegas? So it's a coin flip. I think I'm gonna go tackle here, and I think I'm gonna go. Well, I'll go Peter Scaranci because of the versatility. He could be inside or outside. Now, here's another trade that I am going to make. And this trade is going to be the New York Jets trading up to get their quarterback. Because to me, and again, you know what's crazy? I did this practice run, and all these trades were great. And now, for some reason, I got a 4. This one's weird because it's almost like if they don't think that the team is going to trade up, then it's no longer a thing. But that's weird. I'll throw in a 3rd rounder next year as well. Boom. And this is going to be Will Levis. The Jets know that a quarterback isn't going to fall to them at 13. They desperately need a quarterback. If nothing else, to put Zach Wilson on notice, like, yo, bro, compete. The Panthers are interesting. This would have been Jared Verse, but Jared Verse is going back to school, even though they have Jared Verse still here. They got to update that. To me, it's either Quentin Johnson or Cam Smith. The value of Quentin Johnson is you're getting the best receiver in the class, in a class that doesn't have that many great receivers. But receiver is not as big of a need as corner and edge are. And also the problem is by the time you pick at 40, even though this is a really good edge class, even though this is a very good corner class, a lot of them might go early. So if you're not gonna whatever position, if you go wide receiver, now you're really gonna be scary when you get to pick 40 about who you're gonna get at either corner or edge. So I'm gonna go with Cam Smith here because I think they're gonna like the idea of if they can't pair their Florida State edge rushers, let's pair our South Carolina corners, him and J.C. Horn. Um, Obviously, they probably scout South Carolina really well. I'm sure they'll be comfortable with him. So I'm gonna go with Cam Smith. Um, with the Eagles, it's interesting. They can go corner, they can go edge. A lot of people think they should go corner because Bradbury could be a potential free agent that they don't want to pay to bring back. So if that's the case, you got Keely Ringo here, you got Christian Gonzalez. Keely Ringo, I guess, has been kind of falling down people's boards a little bit. So maybe they want to go Christian Gonzalez. Um, and so yeah, let's do that. Let's go Christian Gonzalez for them. The Tennessee Titans, to me, this has to be either tackle or receiver. Like to me, and I think they're gonna go. You might go receiver just to screw over the Texans, who are right behind you, right? Division rivalry. We see that all the time. Um, I actually kind of like that. Let's do that. Quentin Johnson. They need receivers. Him and Treylon Burks on the outside would be, two big receivers that can go up and get it. Um, so whether it's Malik Willis, whether it's Ryan Tannehill, they need weapons. So that I think I like that. And the joke's going to be on them in terms of who the Texans draft. I'm going to have them take Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm not as high on him. But I think if CJ Stroud is your quarterback, I think they're going to like the idea of pairing him with his college weapon so that they have that instant chemistry. You see that a lot nowadays in the NFL. Remember, the Jaguars went and got Travis Etienne over Najee Harris and other guys, even when they had a running back at the time, because they wanted Trevor Lawrence to have at least somebody in that locker room and on that football field that he's comfortable with. So I get it. Here I'm gonna have uh the Falcons take Nolan Smith. Um, I just like the idea of them taking the Georgia guy. He already looks good in the colors, right? It's not like they don't need edge help. They definitely need edge help. So that's gonna be a thing. Um, Jordan Addison is interesting. For the Patriots, they need I if this would have been Quentin Johnson, if without doubt, if the Titans went offensive line, which I think I did in my run through on this, I had them go offensive line, and I had the Patriots take Quentin Johnson because Mac Jones has been clamoring for more deep shots. He wants to be able to air the ball out a little bit more. That's been like the contention thing with him was like, hey, it's not the fact that we're running the ball; it's the short game is not working. We want to be able to air the ball out. Jordan Addison's more of like a play in space, get him the ball, and let him create yak yards, which I still think works for what the Patriots want to do. And they need receivers, so I'm gonna go there. Um, Green Bay Packers. I'm gonna tell you right now, even if all the receivers were on the board, I was not gonna have them take a receiver. They're not gonna take a receiver, especially since Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs have start to come on towards the end of the year. They're patting themselves on the back. They're sitting there saying we did it again. If and they're gonna say if Aaron Rodgers comes back next year, he'll have more chemistry with those guys, so we don't need a receiver. I can see them going tight end, but I actually think that they need to shore up that offensive line. Aaron Rodgers is getting older. You want to make sure you can protect him. Um, and I'm actually going to have them take Broderick Jones because they also want to run the ball more. And Broderick Jones is a better run blocker. So I'm going to have them take Broderick Jones. Okay, if you are the Washington Commanders, it's a rough spot to be in. Ideally, do you want to go quarterback, but there's not a quarterback here that, I mean, you could reach for Tanner McKee. A lot of people have them taking Anthony Richardson. I just don't see them wanting to take on that project. Whoever takes on Anthony Richardson has to be very sure in their ability to mold him, grow, develop him. I don't know if you're the Commanders. I don't think you have you. I don't think you should have that confidence. To be quite honest with you, um, so I'm not going to go the quarterback route. Instead, let's see what else they could need. Corner is definitely a position. Tackle is definitely a position. Paris Johnson is here, and maybe that's what they do. Trying to think. Right now, no, I'm gonna go corner with the Eagles in your division. You're gonna have to be able to match up on the outside. I'm gonna go Jalen Jones, and you know how I feel about the Steelers. We need to go corner. That is our number one priority. And where is it? There it is, Joey Porter Jr. Bring him home. Let's do it. Okay, the Lions. See, this is what I'm saying. Where do we do the first time? Miles Murphy. Oh, perfect. Oh, so you know what? Why don't we do this? Yeah, let's get that. Let's get that defensive line going. We're in a division with Justin Fields. We're in a division with Aaron Rodgers potentially. We're in a division. I know people clown on Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins won the division, right? Let's get that off. Let's get that defensive line intact. Aiden Hutchinson, Brian Brazy, Miles Murphy. Come on, come on now. What are we doing? Uh, the Buccaneers are interesting. They could take Anthony Richardson, assuming Tom Brady leaves. You might be sitting there saying that we're kind of in a rebuild stage anyway, and therefore we can afford to take him. And we're in a division that doesn't really have a quarterback, so we might be able to still compete while developing him on the job. You know what I mean? So that's interesting. They have weapons, so it's not like he's gonna have nobody to throw to. Hmm. I kind of like that idea. Anthony Richardson. I feel like they're more of a Tanner McKee type of organization. I feel like they would go the Tanner McKee route. And to me, Tanner McKee, you wait for the second round for that. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to have him take a quarterback. I think that they fix up that offensive line, or they could go corner too. What corner is still? Oh yeah, Keely Ringo's still right here. Yeah, don't make it hard on yourself, Brett. Make it easy. Okay, Seattle. I believe we went Tyree Wilson, correct? We went Tyree Wilson. Oops, not trade. Tyree Wilson can fill that edge need. Corners, they usually take corners later. Wide receivers, I don't think there's a receiver here that you would take, right? No, definitely not. Jalen Hyatt is interesting, but again, I think you wait for second round if you're going to go that route. Now, again, this is a team. This is a team that could go Anthony Richardson. I'll tell you why, or even Tanner McKee. I'll tell you why. Geno's played well, but he's kind of come back down to earth a little bit. Um, Towards the end of the year, yeah, I think he had the most passing yards in the season, surpassing Russell Wilson, which is insane to think about. But also, we also got to remember they play 17 games now, so you know we're gonna start seeing that more and more, these single season records, because you have an extra game to do it. But if you know Geno's not your long term future, again, this is a luxury pick because you already picked in the top 10 because of the Rams, or I think it was top five, right? Yeah, it was the fifth pick in the draft. Anthony Richardson might not be a bad idea. You could develop him under, he's not going to start. So Geno still is your starter. He can learn while watching from the sidelines. You can work with him. Your QB coaches can work with him, work on his mechanics, work on everything else. You have the weapons, right? You have, you know what? The more I say it, the more I love it. I think I'm gonna go Anthony Richardson here as a developmental piece because again, this is a luxury pick. This is a luxury pick. They don't need that much. Um, they're just developing the guys that's already on your team. So I really like that. And again, corners, they are a master at getting corners later in the draft. They did it again this year with Tariq Woolen, right? That's the name, Tariq Woolen. So sheesh. The Jaguars, I really like Michael Mayer here. I really do like Michael Mayer here. Um, if you are the Giants, you're kind of screwed because there's no receivers that you should be taking here. I'm actually going to go with Clark Phillips, the corner. I know he's a little bit smaller of a corner, um, but they need some cornerback help. Uh, and he's pretty good. I mean, if he was taller, wouldn't even be a question. But again, you see, as the Panthers, right, all the corners are really off the board now, and so this is this is where it gets a little hectic. Um, the Ravens, again, if you're the Ravens, wide receiver, not really there. You could take Josh Downs, and maybe that's the guy that you have to take here. Yeah, maybe that's what I do. Yeah, maybe you gotta if you're gonna bring back uh Lamar Jackson, you better. You gotta develop that passing game. And so having a guy like Josh Downs that could get open, that could play in space, that quick, easy throws for Lamar Jackson to keep him upright and let Josh Downs do most of the work after the catch. Cool. I want to go linebacker here. I'm pretty sure they need linebacker. I'm pretty sure they need linebacker. And there's some really good linebackers on the board. Take your pick. I think Trenton Simpson is the guy here. Um, the Cowboys, I kind of want to go Osiris Torrance here. I think that offensive line is their bread and butter. And the fact that it's been kind of on the downslope this year, they kind of want to fix that. Uh, they could go Brian Branch or Antonio Johnson, fix up that back end of their defense. That's become kind of their new identity. And I think I will do that. When you're in a division with the Eagles who have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, you need to be able to make sure you could handle your business on the outside and in the deep passing game. So let's do that. The Bengals. Offensive line is still a concern. Offensive line is probably going to continue to be the thing that holds you back from winning a championship. So I think offensive line is where they need to go. Uh, the Vikings are interesting because again, the corners kind of flew off the board. And you really wanted a corner, and there's not much left. Let's see. Yeah, Garrett Wilson, if he wasn't hurt, would be. Emmanuel Ford is interesting. He's a pick six machine. but you could probably wait on him. Devon Witherspoon is not bad. A lot of people think he's more of just a slot guy. So I don't know if you want to put him on the outside. Garrett Wilson is a guy that if you're willing to wait another year or so to see what he can be, then maybe you take him. Maybe you bring back Patrick Peterson for one more year. Uh Draft him and hope he develops for next year and then have him next to Andrew Booth. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. I'm actually going to do that. I'm actually going to do that. Okay. Now, I want to make another trade. And this is me just being me, honestly. Um, I want Carolina to trade up because, and they're going to have to give up a lot to do this, and that's okay. And that's okay. They might have to give up both second round picks to do it, only because you're trading back a lot. It's only 12 spots, but you're trading out the first round, right? Um, so it's one of those things where you kind of want to uh you're probably gonna have to get rid of a lot. Actually, no, that's too much. You're gonna get rid of your third, and let's throw in a fourth next year. Only because you're trading out of the first round. And if you're Denver, you need the picks because obviously you thought you were just a quarterback away. You're obviously not. So you getting the picks to bolster that roster even more is better. So we're gonna force this trade, and Carolina is gonna trade up to get the edge rusher they so desperately need, and that is BJ Ojolari. Boom. Bills. I BJ B. John Robinson is not even close. They get a dynamic running back. They're gonna be literally unstoppable. Like injuries will be the only thing that stops them from winning a Super Bowl at that point. Um, I know they could use a safety because I think both of their safeties are free agents this year, but you can get a safety later. You get a running back later too, but you get a guy like B. John Robinson. Like, come on, like what are we talking about? Um, and now the Kansas City Chiefs can also use some edge help, and I'm going to give it to him with Isaiah Foskey. And I think the Eagles are going to follow suit. Now that Bijan's off the board already, and they've already taken a corner in the first round, I think they're going to say, screw this. We'll take either Devon H. or Jameer Gibbs. Um, but see, that's another thing. You had Miles Sanders and you didn't use him. Now people are gonna say he had his best year, but again, he was on my fantasy team. Trust me, they did not use him properly. So maybe they say, screw that. We'd rather go edge and we'll take a running back later. So who's still left in the edge class? Yeah, they might have to do that because again, there's no Jared Verse. And here's where the drop off happens. Will McDonald, Byron Young, Andre Carter. Andre Carter because might go in the second round. He's the second rounder. There's a lot of good ones. Don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of really good ones left. But the drop off between like the first slash early second rounders is here, right? After Felix goes, and you can make the argument Andre Carter. But once those two guys go, that's when it's gonna get real crazy in terms of drop off when you should be drafting another one. So I'm gonna go ahead and have them draft their edge class. All right. Okay. Steelers. Thank you, Chicago. Thank you, Chicago. We have our corner. I would actually like to go corner again because we could use as many corners as possible. But and Devon Witherspoon would be nice. Put him put him in the slot. Because I think we're gonna bring back William Jackson III. I think we're gonna bring back Cam Sutton. Now you have Joey Porter Jr. If you go corner again, you're in good shape. But you know what? There's some good tackles on the board still. And even though I don't want us to go tackle, there's some pretty good ones left. Let's shore up that offensive line. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, the Texans, they went CJ Stroud, they went Jackson Smith and Jigba. Where should they go next? They need a corner as well. I kind of want them. I kind of like the idea of them just continuing to add weapons, seeing what you can get out of this offense because their offense is the problem. Their defense has been like up and down. It hasn't been that bad, honestly. Now, granted, you can make the case that there is a significant drop off in weapons right now. These are guys that you would probably take mid to late second round at the earliest. However, they don't need a running back. So I don't know what that y'all talking about. Yeah, when I did when I did my run through, I just did a first round just to see. So now I'm legit like rethinking how I want to do this. Um, we can bolster the defense a little bit. Drew Sanders here is an interesting play. We could trade back. Who's here that somebody would want? Let's see. Tanner McKee is here, and maybe a quarterback is thinking if there's a quarterback that still if there's a team I should say that still needs a quarterback like well no the Falcons we took Will Levis right no they traded back so they didn't take Will Levis. The Buccaneers went edge as well. They went Keely Ringo. Okay. If there's a team that wants like the Saints are a team that might sit here and say, let's go get our quarterback. Yeah, see. See, here's the problem though. You're gonna have to give up this 70. You're gonna have to give up this 73 pick because 105 is way too low, right? Oh, you could trade players in this. Oh, that's love. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, wait a minute now. We're gonna have some fun with this. Okay, we'll do that for another video. Okay, we'll do that for another video. Um, yeah, you're gonna have to give up 43 and 73 to make this work. I mean, 41 to 73 to make this work, and maybe a fifth rounder next year. Why did that go down? How did I add? Wait a minute. How did I add a pick? Oh, I guess you're saying we. Oh, I guess you're saying I'm giving up too much. 22% chance. So I guess you're saying it's too much on the one side. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. All right. Well, if that's too much, then okay. So we will give up 105. All right. Let's see. Boom. Trade is accepted. All right. And we're gonna go Tanner McKee here. They need a quarterback bad. He could work in that system. And so here we go. The Cardinals are in a mess right now. They fired Cliff Kingsbury. I think if they haven't already done it, I think the rumors are going to fire the GM. So who knows what's going on with them? They got Will Anderson already, so already a beautiful thing with this. And so Science Torrance is a bad. Luke Whippler is probably the pick here. That's a much better pick. Okay, Chicago. This is a pick you really wanted that you got from Indy. You're back in the early 30s, which is great. And who do we got Jalen Carter, right? Jalen Carter. There's not really a receiver here you would want to get, unfortunately, to help your young quarterback. So why don't we go ahead and just take Osiris Torrance? Or actually, no, I'm gonna take Andrew Voorhees here. Help that offensive line, protect your young quarterback, and maybe with our second round pick, we'll look at receiver. Seattle. What did we do with our second pick? Did we trade back? No, we took Anthony Richardson, right? Yeah, we took Anthony Richardson. Took Anthony. So we have Tyree Wilson. We have Anthony Richardson. Okay. Uh Now we can definitely go Osiris Torrance here. Or even Connor Beebe. Hmm. We'll go Osiris Torrance. The Rams probably should have moved up, but no, there's some tackles still on the board. They need some tackles. Yeah, Blake Freeland is a guy. Let's see who else. Wait, hold on, let me just make sure. Darnell Wright. Yeah, those are some good tackles that you can get there. Um, Maybe the inside of the line is better. Osagun's good. He can be he's a center, but I think he could also play guard. Connor Beebe's good. No, I think you go tackle. You got to be able to protect Matt Stafford if he comes back. Let's try it. Okay. I believe we went offensive line in the first round. Yes, we did. And now here's where we are going to go help our defense. You could also go inside line. Uh, See, a lot of people aren't that high on him. Um, no. If you're getting Tom Brady, your number one, two, and three priority has to be making sure that offensive line is stacked, right? That's got to be because you have the weapons. You have Devontae Adams, you have Darren Waller, you have Hunter Renfro. Even if you, it doesn't seem like Josh Jacobs is going to be back, but this is actually a really good free agency because I don't think they'll draft a running back. I think they will sign one because it's Tom Brady and he kind of likes using veterans. Um, so they'll probably sign one. But again, a guy like Miles Sanders is out there. It's actually a pretty good free. It's a really, if you need a running back, you can get a running back. This draft class is loaded with running backs. It's a pretty good free agency class in terms of running backs. Um, so maybe Vegas will spend the money to bring a running back, even if that's Josh Jacobs. He kind of seemed pissed off about the whole Derek Carr situation as well. So I don't think he wants to come back there. But again, maybe a guy like Miles Sanders would love to play with Brady where he knows he's going to get the ball more, unlike with freaking Jalen Hurts. Sorry. Falcons. What did we do in the first round? See, this is the part I ate. I gotta keep refreshing my memory. We went Nolan Smith. We went Nolan Smith. Okay, I like that. Corner is something you could at least think about here. Corner is definitely something you could at least think about here. Defensive interior. Maybe this is where Saka Iko could thrive. Um, hmm. Yeah, they're in an interesting position. They kind of have a really weird roster in terms of what they need and what. Hmm. Receiver could be something they got rid of Calvin Ridley. You have Kyle Pitts, you have Drake London, but that's not enough. You need something more. Brian Branch has to go at some point to somebody. I gotta. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do this. Get you a big body that can plug up the hole, stop the running game. Um, Again, as of right now, there's no dynamic quarterbacks in that division, especially if Tom Brady does leave. So let's just continue to build up that defensive line. That should help. Um, Denver, and this is from Carolina because Carolina traded up to get BJ Ojolari. I love it. Denver here is going to have to. This is their first pick, correct? They traded out of. Yeah, this is their first pick. Let's see here. I think you definitely want to get this offensive line together. Darnell Wright might be a good pick for them. Let's fix that O line. Hopefully that helps Russell Wilson next year. Because Lord knows I don't know what the heck was going on this year. All right, the Texans. We traded back again. We got our quarterback. We got our receiver. This probably could be Brian Bryant. I mean, at this point, you might just want to go best player available. I know you got Petrie as a safety. Who's their other safety? Devon Witherspoon could be somewhere and to think of as well. Drew Sanders isn't bad here. I also like the idea of them going tight end. Darnell Washington is the guy, big tight end. Yeah, I like that. Let's do that. Because that also, once again, that screws over your Titans. That screws over your Titans. Um, the Titans try to screw you over in the first round. You kind of get back at them. Because the Titans, again, they need weapons bad. Uh, and they did I give them what did I do with them in the first round? Yeah, they did go. Yeah, they went to Quentin Johnson to try to screw you over. You go tight end to screw them over out of being able to get one. Uh, this is where again, best player available might be the play here, which might be Brian Branch, but we could also go edge here. Andre Car. Yeah. Oh yeah. Wait. Yeah. Because Bud Dupree unfortunately has not worked out for them. I like Andre Carter, big body that has a lot of potential. Let's do that. The Browns. I think they're gonna go receiver here. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I think they might go receiver here. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I think Deshaun Watson is gonna want a different style of play on the offense, and he's gonna want weapons. They have Cooper already. Donovan Peoples Jones is okay, but like I don't know. That's interesting. What they do with their first with this pick is gonna be very interesting. They don't need a tight end. They have Ninjoku. Apparently, a lot of people said Drew Sanders has been an interesting one. Defensive interior makes sense only because when you play in a division with the Steelers, who you know are going to run the ball, the Ravens, who you know are going to run the ball. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Well, if they're gonna go defensive end, it's gonna be Mozzie Smith, which sucks. That's the guy I want the Steelers to get, but that's okay. The Jets, they have traded up to get Will Levis. Great. They need offensive line help because they've been battered at that position, unfortunately. But is there anybody here that you would want in this area? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And so, should they be thinking of a trade down? They think my Steelers should be trading up. I don't agree because what are we trading up for? we got we could trade up to get Devon Witherspoon. We could. We could make that trade up to get Devon Witherspoon, but let's see. Hold on. Is there anybody here that somebody would really want to trade up and get? I'm looking at a few players. I'm looking at Drew Sanders. I'm looking at Brian Branch, right? Brian Branch is still here. Is there anybody that needs a safety that would say, okay, we really want to make sure we get this guy because he is by far best player available, and you know, we would just love to have him. Um, you could also just go guard here. I think if you're the Jets, you want to trade back to get a little bit better value on the tackle that you're gonna have to take. But again, who's trading up and for what? Drew Sanders is a guy. The Lions might be. Did I go? I think I went all right. Haven't I gone all defensive? Yeah. So let's do that. I like that. Let's do that. Let's have the Lions move up 49 for 44. Uh, not gonna have to give up much. Yeah, let's do that. And now they are gonna get Drew Sanders because they are sitting there saying to themselves, if our defense is legitimate, we can win this division. I love that. And the Patriots might have wanted Drew Sanders, and you just jumped them. So I love that even more. The Patriots, what have they done? What did we do so far in the first round? We went Jordan Addison. Okay, so now let's definitely attack this. Let's definitely attack this O line. I think Christian Hayes makes so much sense. He's right there. Oh wait, didn't he go back to school? He did go back to school. He did go back to school. Fuck. Okay, so that pick is Cooper Beebe. Okay, it's Cooper Beebe. It's not Christian Hayes, and we got to make sure we don't draft Cooper Beebe. Um, the Packers. I have them. Oh, Luke Musgrave. So let me see what other tight ends are still on the board. It's a really good tight end class. No, I would Dalton Kincaid for sure. Get more weapons. It's the second round. They're they're okay with drafting offensive players now because it's the second, not in the first, never in the first, but in the second round we can get you some weapons. Dalton Kincaid is that. The Washington Commanders. I don't remember what I had them do in the first round. They went corner, right? Yeah, they went corner. So now let's also have them uh, look at this line. Actually, who's their tight end right now? I think that'll be a good. I think that'll be like if you're going to be stuck with whatever quarterback you have next year, whether that's Carson Wentz, Tanner McKee. I mean, not Tanner McKee. Right? They didn't pick again second round, did they? No. If you're going to be stuck with your quarterback anyway, why not go all in on weapons? Right? Why not go all in on the idea of getting the weapons you want, of making this offense more dynamic? You had Dotson, you have McLaurin, you have the running backs. Who do they have? I don't know who's their tight end. And so I'm sure there's going to be Commanders fans that are mad at me for doing this, but I kind of like the idea of them getting a tight end here. I kind of like the idea of them getting a tight end here. Uh, we went corner, we went offensive line. Is there a defensive interior? There is. Wait a minute. Mm, wow. It's between them or Devon Witherspoon. I feel like I should do this because I already have a corner. See, this is why I don't want to go offensive line because if I take Devon Witherspoon at what was it, 33 or 32, if I take Devon Witherspoon at 32, it's a no brainer. I take Keandre Corbin now, and now my defense is fire. For take. Well, Brian Branch is still here too. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Brian Branch, Alabama safety with Minka Fitzpatrick, Alabama safety. Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I just talked myself into that. I just talked myself into that. I forgot he was still there. Devon Witherspoon. I want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have taken you at 32. I should have done it. I should have taken you at 32. But that's okay. But that's okay. We will endure. We will endure. Okay, the Jets. They traded back. We traded back because we wanted offensive line help and we wanted to get a little bit more value for that offensive line help. Cooper Beebe is not here. I gotta continue to remember that. Continue to remember that. Continue to remember that. They need more tackles, right? They could use either one, honestly. Cody Mossy, I'm not a big fan. I don't know enough about these small, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel comfortable, especially at this point, saying take that type of guy when you kind of got burned doing that already, taking the BYU quarterback, if we're being real. I know it's not the same thing, but I mean, tackle's pretty important too. If you're tackling, it's much easier blocking guys that are my size as opposed to blocking guys that are 300 pounds. um, Yikes. That's all I can say is yikes. But they got to get that offensive line fixed. They got to. Like, that's just, it's a, I'm going to go to Lusagoon here. They gotta get that offensive line fixed. Um, Protecting your new quarterback is going to be very important. Okay, Tampa Bay. What did I have them do in the first round? Oh, they got cute Ringo. Jesus, good for them. Good for them. Good lord. Okay, Tampa Bay. So they don't need a corner. Again, offensive inside line. I think I'm gonna have them go edge here. And here's where you start seeing like that next run on edges, right? Here's where you see the Will McDonald's of the world going. Seattle's got like 20 million picks. So what did they do? Osiris Torrance. I know they went Tyree Wilson the first time. Osiris Torrance and Anthony Richardson. Hmm. So O line, D line, quarterback. O line, D line, quarterback. O line, D line, quarterback. Pretty good. They have tight ends. They don't need tight ends. Here's where you can also go. You go Corbin. I like him. He's a little small, so I don't know if teams are gonna be okay. You can make the argument. Oh, he's Aaron Down 2.0, but he's not Aaron Down 2.0 because Aaron Down was considered kind of small coming out of college as well, also from Pittsburgh. Um, Gervon Dexter's still here. And at some point, you say to yourself, yeah. You know what I mean? At some point, you say to yourself, why not? And again, I got Tyree Wilson for a reason because he could be edge or defensive interior. But let's look at the edges real quick because maybe that's what we do. Maybe we go edge and see if we can get Tyree Wilson as a defensive interior piece. But yeah, see, no, I just Derek Hall. Mm, nah, I'm gonna just go defensive. I'm gonna make Tyree Wilson my edge, and I'm gonna go defensive interior. Ah, I'm gonna go Rendex here. Okay. The Jaguars. They went Michael Mayer. Great. They can also they also need a corner, and I think this is where Devon Witherspoon is gone. I'm so sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me. The Dolphins, they're finally on the clock. They need a freaking I'm not gonna what I was gonna say would be inappropriate. The Bills are not gonna they're not gonna trade with the Bills, y'all. What are y'all doing? They're not gonna trade with the Bills. I'm not gonna say what they need. They're not gonna take a running back because that's not how they do things. They could use a tight end. That's another thing. By the way, just on the side, that's why I traded up for the Panthers. Because ideally, you would just wait and hope an edge falls to you. Because ideally, especially if you don't aren't going to get a quarterback, your first four picks had in some combination had to be corner, receiver, edge, tight end. Right, those are the four things you need the most. Slash maybe linebacker. Those are the five positions you need the most. And you're saying to yourself, I can probably get a tight end or a receiver in the third round. But because the edges were, but because you wanted to make sure you got your corner and your edge, you traded up and we gave up our third round pick. Uh, and so now you're probably going to miss out on a lot of the maybe not the receivers, but you're probably going to miss out on the tight ends that you so desperately needed. It's a very interesting tight end class. It's a really deep tight end class, but again, it's like stages. There's like top end, and there's like middle end, and there's like late round guys. But there's like a huge drop off between each one, so it's weird. Anyway, the Dolphins. I'm saying that to say the Dolphins could use a tight end, but like we kind of had our run on tight ends, and I don't know if you would take any of these guys at 53, especially with your first pick. You know what I mean? I think you kind of just have to go best player available here. Um, which could be running back. Oh shit, Emmanuel Forbes is still here. Huh. Emmanuel Forbes is still on the board. Yeah. Tyreek Stevenson is still on the board, who's from Miami. I think we're gonna do that. Okay. The G Man. Did they go corner? Did I go corner for them in the first round? I did. So now here's where you can start looking at wide receiver again. Parker Washington, Jalen Hyatt. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. Yeah. Yeah, let's go Jalen Hyatt. Let's go get Daniel Jones some help on the outside. Same with the Bears. Here's where you can start really looking at um wide receiver again. You know what I mean? Like here's where you can start looking at wide receiver again. Uh who did we take at 35? We went offensive line and we took Jalen Carter. I like it. Now let's go get our guy. Let's go get our guy a receiver, y'all. Let's go get him a receiver. Um Apparently Rasheed Rice doesn't like the cold. I'm gonna take the YouTuber that I watched that says that went to school with him, like knows him. Uh so I'm not gonna put him in Chicago. So maybe it's Trey Palmer, maybe it's Parker Washington. I, I'm a big fan of Zay Flowers. I'm not sure why they have him ranked so low, actually. I like him a lot. I'm gonna go Trey Palmer here. Let's get him another receiver. Okay. Now, what did I do with the Chargers last time? Oh, nice. Trenton Simpson. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Uh let's see what corners on the board. Oh, Manuel Forbes is still here. Eli Ricks is a little iffy. Yeah, you need corners in that division. You need corners. Let's do that. The Cowboys, I believe I get them a safety. I believe I got them a safety. I did. Antonio Johnson from Texas A&M. That's a really good pick. That's a really good pick. And I think what we will do now is there any corner? We could also go back to Texas. Got Texas A&M guy. We could go a TCU guy. I kind of like that. We could also draft Jameer Gibbs and fuck everybody day up. They could do that too. They could do that too. If they want to move on, because I think Tony Pollard is also again a free agent. If they don't bring him back, they could just draft another one. I'm gonna do that. The Bungles. I think did they have him go offensive line in the first round? I think I did. You got to yes. Oh, Paris Johnson. That's a great pick. That's a great pick. That's a great pick. Wow. Tight end again. Tight ends are gone. You're not gonna take a tight end at this stage, I wouldn't think. Corners are kind of gone. Yeah, at this point, you do best player available, and that might be Jameer Gibbs. That might be Jameer Gibbs. Oh, help us off. That's Jameer Gibbs. Oh, JL Skinner, by the way, is a guy I wanted to get in with the Steelers in the third round. But with Brian Branch still there, it was like, how do you pass that up? Yeah, Skinner was a guy I was targeting for the third round for the Steelers. But again, when you got a safety staring at you right in the face, like why not? Um, it might be Jameer Gibbs. Yikes! Yikes! This might be Devon A.J. Yikes! Yikes! Okay, Carolina. So we got our corner, we got our edge, and now here is where we take our wide receiver. I like Zay Flowers a lot. Rasheed Rice, Carolina ain't that cold. I think he'll be fine. I think I go Rasheed Rice. I think I go. Hold on, let me look something up real quick. Let me look some things up real quick. Let me see. And this is why you don't take Quentin Johnson, because again, by the time you get here, it would have gotten real messy in terms of corners and everything else. Yeah, Rasheed Rice is 6'2". Uh yeah, we're gonna go with Rasheed Rice. We're gonna go with Rasheed Rice. I like that. Yeah. See, that's what you do. That's why you do that. You trade up. You can get a tight. There's still some decent tight ends I can get later, right? There's still some. Let me look at the linebackers real quick. I know I'm forgetting linebacker. Jack Campbell still there. Yeah. There's still some linebackers you can get. There's still some tight ends that I like later. I just don't like them right now. Um, there's still some really good linebackers left on the board. Sam Laporta is a guy. If I could, Tucker Craft is a guy I'm looking at. Uh, where is he at? Zach Coombs. Yeah, I mean there's some tight ends I could probably get later, even though I don't have my third round pick. I think we have two fourth rounders, right? So linebacker, tight end would be my fourth round picks, right? That boom. So yeah, that's why you do that. You go corner, you can trade up to get the edge rusher that you need. And I'm glad we did that. You get a guy like Rasheed Rice here at 60. If this happens in real life as a Panthers fan, I am ecstatic. Okay. The Bills, they went with uh oh God. Yikes. 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 Oh no. Oh man. Oh my goodness. He could play linebacker and safety. So they got Bijan Robinson, JL Skinner. Oh man. Thank God this probably won't happen in real life. Because if it does, I'm gonna cry. Good God. Yikes. Um, what did Kansas City do in the first round? Oh, the rich get richer. The rich get richer. Oh man. I'm about to say yikes again. Oh man. Yikes. Oh man. We're never going to win a Super Bowl. We ain't never going to win a Super Bowl. Oh my God. Why? The Eagles, they got a corner, and then they went with Felix, right? That's the only two picks they've had so far, right? They haven't picked again. I don't think. I hope not. Yikes. Okay. Here it is. Here it is. The Colts trade up to get Bryce Young. The Texans take CJ Stroud. Will Anderson goes to the Cardinals. Jalen Carter goes to the Bears. Tyree Wilson goes to the Seahawks. Miles Murphy goes to the Lions. Peter Skoronski goes to the Raiders. Will Levis, the Jets trade up with Atlanta to get Will Levis. The Panthers are like, that's perfectly fine. We will take Cam Smith. The Eagles say that's perfectly fine. We will take Christian Gonzalez. The Titans are kissing the Lord's good feet because they get a receiver in Quentin Johnson. The Texans take Jackson Smith and Jigba because they're the Texans. It's just because that's what they do. Um, the Falcons take Nolan Smith. Jordan Addison falls to the Patriots because, of course, he does. Broderick Jones to shore up that offensive line. Jalen Jones goes to the Commanders. We get Joey Porter Jr. I'm very happy about that. Brian Brazee to go along with the Clemson boys both go to the Lions. Keely Ringo, very good pick, falling to the Buccaneers. I know this is probably the most controversial one, but I really do think this makes a lot of sense. Taking Anthony Richardson here as a guy that you could develop. I mean, the guy has star potential written all over him. He's very raw. He is. He's very raw. You have to be committed to helping develop him. But they're kind of in a position to do that. So that's why I did it. I love this pick for the Jaguars. I like this pick for the Giants. Josh Downs is a receiver that can help the Ravens. Trenton Simpson, Antonio Johnson, Paris Johnson, Garrett Williams, again, kind of a luxury pick, if you will. Just sign a corner for now, develop him, and now you have your two bookends with him and Andrew Booth. I love this. The Panthers trading him to get BJ Ojolari. Between him and Cam Smith, now their defense is legitimately set. Bijan Robinson going to the Bills. These three picks, man. These three picks. Oh, oh. Um, are you gonna show my second round now? What's going on? Why are you not showing me what I did in the second round? Okay, well, I guess go back and see what we did in the second round. But this was the first round. This was the first round. Uh, off the bat, off the bat, the Bills are kings in this draft. Off the bat, the rich got richer. The Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bills are happy. I'm happy with my Steelers draft, even though I would have loved to go double corner. I'm still happy with my Steelers draft. Getting that offensive tackle is important. It's not as high on my list of priorities as is a lot of Steelers fans. I think our offensive line is good enough right now. Yeah, you can tweak it a little bit. Yeah, in the later round, if you want to, bring some depth pieces in, but the value was just too high to not take a tackle at that position. So that's what you do. I still love what we did. We still were able to get a safety and a corner. So we're still helping in our defensive backfield, which is our biggest need right now. Um, we still are in a decent position to get a good player in the third round that could help us, whether it's on the defensive interior or maybe another wide receiver or something like that. So, maybe another inside lineman on the interior of the line. So I still like what we did. So I'm happy with the Steelers. I love the Panthers draft. I really do. Cam Smith, BJ Ojolari, and who that and Rasheed Rice in the second round. Pretty good. Um, those are the ones I like the most. I wish I could see what I did in the second round so I could give you other ones. I love the Lions draft. I love the Lions draft. Boosting up that defense, getting Miles Murphy, getting Brian Brzee, and I believe we also got uh Drew Sanders, right? If I remember correctly. So I love the Lions draft. That's a really good one. And I like what Seattle did, getting Tyree Wilson, and then I think we also got defensive interior. Uh and like I said, the Anthony Richardson pick, I think that was a luxury pick. They had what, three, four for picks in this draft. I used one of them on a quarterback that could potentially be a star. The rest of them, I shored up the defensive line and the offensive line. Yeah, I love that. I would love that for if I was a Seattle fan. Yeah, I would really like that for Seattle fan. The Giants, I tried my best. I don't really love what they did only because they got the positions they wanted, but probably not the players they wanted. So for instance, this is one of those things why I'm kind of glad the Steelers didn't make the playoffs because that's what happens to the Steelers, right? Because you're picking in the like mid 20s, a lot of times you get the player you want, but you don't, I mean the position you want, but not necessarily the players you want. So the Giants had to watch all the better receivers get taken before them. They had to watch all the corners. They took what? They took what? How many corners went for them? One, two, three, four, five corners got taken before they were even able to draft a corner. So they drafted the sixth corner. You know what I mean? Like that can't happen. Uh, that again, that's usually what happens to my Steelers. So I'm kind of glad we didn't make the playoffs because now we're able to get the player we want instead of settling for somebody for whoever falls to us. So right now, again, I try my best to help the Giants. I know Charles is probably like rolling his eyes at that statement, but it's one of those things like when sometimes that's what happens when you need certain things and things don't fall to you. You got to settle for. Again, I like Clark Phillips a lot. Clark Phillips is a guy I would take. Um, but Clark Phillips, I think, fits the Steelers better than he fits the Giants, if that makes sense. Um, so that's one of the teams I'm kind of like on. Um, Off the top of my head, that's the only team. Yeah, because I really like I really like all these first round picks for a lot of these teams. Off the top of my head, that's the only again, I don't know, I don't remember what that for some reason I can't see the second round, what we did in the second round, but that's the only team that I'm sitting there saying, maybe you think about trading up, maybe you think about doing what you got to do to get a player that you want. Um, yeah. But even then, their value will come later in the draft because again, where their needs are, there are guys that will be there later in the draft. They might not be. They might have gone too early. Like I said, this is a weird draft where there's like these huge sections of top end talent, then a major drop off. Then there's this huge section of mid round talent, then a major drop off, then late round talent. So it's one of those weird things where odds are they'll catch the value somewhere. So right now they might be playing from behind, but you know, again, so I try to look when I do these mock drafts. I try to do my best to put every team in the best position possible, right? Because that's the point of a draft. I try not to. I don't look out for my own teams. I try to put everybody in the best position possible. Again, I can see this. Not, should they probably go Jordan Addison over Jackson Smith and Jibba? Maybe. But if you have CJ Stroud, why would you not give him one of his receivers? You know what I mean? Um, and it had nothing to do with the Steelers. So that decision doesn't impact our ability to get Joey Porter. You know what I mean? So I can see where, maybe people are mad that I had the Panthers trade up to get, BJ Ojolari, but that's something I really think they should do. You saw it in my last mock that I did when they didn't trade up and the edge rusher wasn't there for them. So again, I think that's something that they should consider doing. Um, so yeah, so that's what it is. You can find me at Never for Brett Me. That's NEVA underscore the number 4 BRETT BRETT. I feel like I be saying 3 T's sometimes. BRETT underscore ME on Instagram and on Twitter. We are the dope underscore blog. We are the underscore dope blog on Instagram, the dope blog, all one word on Twitter. And join us next time as we continue to discuss other people's excellence. Happy New Year, everybody, and let's enjoy these playoffs.